What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Happy reopening basketball day to you. Recording as basketball's going on. Go Lakers! Welcome back to the Real Report. As always, talk about the happenings at NXT and AEW. Of course, I'm your host Murjani, joined by Cyrus. How's everybody feeling out there? Hope everybody's good. Had a good week of wrestling. Well, Wednesday, because I don't. I seldom watch wrestling on Monday
Yeah.
through Friday,
Oh,
so I'll say Wednesday. What's going on? How you doing?
uh, yeah, it's been for me at least, it's been an okay week for wrestling. I haven't been too enthused by wrestling this week. Didn't see much wrestling news. Just the normal conversations are happening, like outside of the Kyrie Sane thing, of course. But it just seems like a normal wrestling week.
Uh, yeah. I mean, like we're building up the stuff. We don't have. I mean, at
Yeah.
least for NXT and AEW, we don't have a pay per view on the horizon until August and September. So, it's a regular. Yeah, I would say it's a regular week. Um, like you said and like you alluded to, I mean, there were a couple news tidbits here and there, but I think it'd be better if we go into the shows because a lot happened between NXT and AEW.
Yeah, I don't
We'll
think there's
go.
much for in the trenches this week.
We'll go into AEW first because, like I said, a lot happened there. The internet was clamoring for Warhorse to show up for the TNT Open Challenge, and he did this week. This match, I would say, it was a little different as because Warhorse. I mean, I've seen a lot of people say that he's kind of like a pseudo Ultimate Warrior type. I like that the psychology of this match. It seemed like he had Cody scouted out instead of Cody, using Coach Arn Anderson to scout him out.
Hmm.
There were points in this match where I think that their chemistry was kind of off. There were slow spots in this match. It seemed like Cody was really going for the leg a lot and going for the figure four way too many times. He finally got it on. Um, I think that they would probably have benefited if Warhorse kind of fought a couple of AEW matches before this, but then again, that would kind of kill the allure of doing the open challenge. But before I go into it a little bit more, what do you think about the match?
I thought it was okay. Like I'm not as familiar with Warhorse as a lot of people are, so I wasn't really excited for this match. I just thought it was just going to be a standard Cody match, and that's what I got out of it. It was a standard Cody match to me. Nothing over the top and nothing amazing. Hopefully this does amazing things for Warhorse going into the future if he does sign or not. Uh, hopefully it does result. Hopefully it does result in him getting signed because he has definitely a big following. Uh, earlier that yesterday, I got an email from IWTV, which is like a website where you can just watch pay-per-views and stuff like that, and a lot of promotions are affiliated with it. And they were just like, "Hey, here's a Warhorse playlist," and it was like a bunch of matches. So it's just like he is very popular on the indies, and I just think a lot of the momentum that he got from this might not really result in anything if he doesn't get signed because not a lot of indies are really active right now. So I'm glad he got the match, but hopefully something comes from it.
I mean, there's a little interesting tidbit that I wanted to put out there. Shout out to the Reddit user Mmeber3, I believe. They put this out on 12 hours ago on the Squared Circle thing. They said since the pandemics began, AEW has given work to over 60 independent wrestlers and signed at least 9 new members to their roster. The
That's
9 new
cool.
members,
That's nice.
I'm gonna allude to the ninth one in a little bit, but the 8 that they signed is Abaddon, Alan Angels, Anna Jay, of course FTR, Preston Vance, or 10, Ricky Starks and I guess if you want to count Vicky Guerrero, then that would be her as well.
I'm
Um,
not counting Vicky Guerrero.
I knew about Warhorse. I seen a couple of his matches, but this was the first match that I saw in its entirety to him. Uh, Cody does work a style. He's been trying to, I guess, change it up a little bit when he does these open challenge matches. Like, I think that this match kind of did a little bit more for Warhorse than it did for Cody. As I said, because
Mm-hmm.
Cody is working over the leg, it just seemed like there were spots where like they were moving in slow motion a little bit, especially when you have a energetic, dynamic wrestler like Warhorse. Like you want to speed it up a little bit, and maybe Cody's not the right guy to do that. But these TNT matches are really just to kind of showcase, these indie talents. And the thing is, and I asked this, all right, like, is the novelty gonna wear off soon? Because it's cool to see, Cody go against like the Ricky Starks and the War Horses, and like all these guys that they're bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
But where is this leading to? Eventually, or like I said, the Eddie Kingstons. Where is this going to lead to? We are a month away
Yeah.
from All Out. There has to be a storyline, and I know they're alluding to it slowly. If Cody turned, maybe possibly turning heel, and then Arn Anderson kind of like getting mad and stuff like that. But where's this going to? It has to come to a conclusion soon. It can't just be, all right, who's the indie guy of the week, and maybe we'll sign him, and maybe we won't.
Yeah, and I know we had a separate discussion off mic just about uh, talent signings, and
Oh, we'll get to those
a
in
lot
a
of it.
second.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just like, oh man, like, do they have money for it? And it's just like maybe not, but then yeah, we're gonna get to it. We see that they blew the bag on somebody else, but it's just like is I do think for me, at least, the novelty does it has worn off already, especially to the point where it is becoming like indie guy of the week, and we still have people on the roster that aren't really doing anything. Like on the AEW roster already that aren't doing anything, and instead of once again, instead of putting new guys in, let's work what we already have. That is a broken record statement for me at this point, and AEW is just not listening. Like, we got so far people that were already signed to AEW to get a TNT championship match, like Jake Hager, Jungle
TNT.
Boy,
I think you
the
said
TNT.
AT.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, it
Uh,
might be. It could be AT&T. They might get some sponsor
hey,
money off of that.
I got beef with AT&T, man. Um, so just like I think like about four people on the AEW roster that has had a shot at that title, and now it's just becoming what kind of indie, like you said, what kind of indie guy that we can get. But we have this really honestly this meaningless feud with that's involving uh, the Jungle Express, Best Friends, and the Inner Circle, and Matt Hardy gets featured, and we'll talk about that later. But
No, no, no,
instead of
no,
just
no, no,
having
no, 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 no. I'm sorry for interrupting. We're gonna talk about that now because that I had huge beef with that. Okay, this 10-man tag match.
the worst thing ever.
I'll say this, like, I didn't necessarily initially have a problem with it because I'm like, okay, all the inner circle gets to be in a match, but the first part of it was a mess. It seems like some guy, like, there was a spot and I forgot like what particularly happened where it seemed is like one of the best friends, like Trent was waiting to do, like he was waiting for everybody to get into place to do the moonsault. And then there was like a spot where they were tossing Marco Stunt back and forth. And I'm like, all right, we have another 12-man tag next week. And I'm like, I understand that.
12-man tag.
I
Like,
understand
how
that.
does that sound? Like, how does that sound interesting to anybody?
Like, I understand that we have a lot to cover, and we have
Hmm.
to get everybody on the show. And Cody actually did a recent interview, I think today or yesterday, where they're talking about the third hour, and we'll know more about that 4 to 6 weeks. He said, maybe it'd be a different show. It's gonna be a
Okay.
different format. Cool, but to have like these spot fest, like it just looks sloppy to me.
Yeah, but just to finish, I definitely think that Cody should kind of challenge people that are already signed rather than go to Indie Guy of the Week. Like maybe Luchasaurus could have been in that, like against Cody, and not in this awful tag match. And also, I just I hate this trend of multi-man tags where, dude comes in, hits him, and then another guy comes in from the opposite team, does his thing, and then, like everybody's just doing like drive-by hits or whatever. And I hate it so much. I don't like that sort of like transitioning spot fest, whatever people want to call it, that goes on into the matches that normally leads to the finish. And also just this goes into the theory once again that Inner Circle just doesn't care about Santana and Ortiz, because whenever they're involved, they don't get a win.
I think they
But
were
let
on dark.
this.
I think they were on
Oh.
dark this week, but at the same time, like I kind of agree with you there because I mean we've talked about it on the show. We probably talked about it a month ago where
Hmm.
them being LAX and them being in Impact, it was such a hyped signing. Like where are they going to go? Are they going to go to
Yeah.
WWE and be a tag team there? Which like I think people were salivating. You know what? LAX Santana Ortiz versus the Usos, that would be fire. But they went to
Yeah.
AEW, and now they're kind of in this group where
Just
I don't want
just
to.
jog.
Yeah, I don't want to like harp on like points that we've already done, but like they're just kind of guys. They're other bodies,
Yeah.
and it's like Jake
And
Hager, like you said, same thing. He's caught into this whole Jungle Express best friends thing, and you're like,
mhm.
he's already lost 2 title matches. He's lost against Mox and he's lost against
Yeah,
Cody. It's like, where is he gonna go?
nowhere, because there's nowhere really for him to go. And he's not in a tag team or anything. He's really just like an enforcer that's just around for some reason. But they're in this match and then they lose. One person loses, everybody loses, right? But let this be a tag team match with El Sex Gods. They would get a win.
Okay,
Easy. Just like that. But let it be LAX and they would lose. And it's just like they are your tag team in your stable.
get you. I got you.
Let them be something more.
The problem is, and I'll allude to FTR signing and given like what the tag team appreciation night is. There just way too many tag teams right now for them to
And
even make an impression. Like the Dark
jerk off
Order.
motion about tag team appreciation night. Oh my lord.
Well, I'm just saying, you have Dark Order, you have Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, you have FTR and the Young Bucks. Like the top right now, there's a ceiling where nobody else can really break through. So you have to wait until that clears out for anybody else to, or another tag team to make an impression.
And any tag team can make an impression,
I feel like we
right?
talk about this every week
Yeah,
how there's way too many tag teams, and there really are.
not even way too many tag teams. There's just way too many people on the roster, period. And it's just, well, in every division except the one that needs it the most. The women's division needs people the most. But no, we have to get more and more men for some reason.
Hold on.
God knows why. But we.
We will get to another potential addition to the women's division in a little bit. I save that especially for this episode.
And,
But
but what's the thing? I think that's temporary
well,
for her.
I hope not because they need wrestlers over there. They really do. But I want to get to the first edition. Uh, so Warhorse and Cody ends, and they get attacked by the Dark Order. That's foreshadowing. And former hype bro Matt Cordova shows up. My man is in shape. He comes and makes the save on Cody. Save for Cody. Of course, they've been really good friends for a long time. He's your new signee to AEW. Listen, contrary to popular belief, I think this is a good signing by them. The problem is, I just think that it's way too late in the game for it to be impactful because I'm like, I don't want the buzz for Matt to happen and then it just be another thing. Because I think we said this about Brody Lee. Because Brody Lee...
Brody Lee,
well, okay, hold on.
Lance Archer, Jake Hager, Brian Cage.
Hold on. I will say this about Brody Lee. They are trying to do something with him. Lance Archer, I don't know. Because they made a kind of tongue-in-cheek thing where he can't get on the show. And he was on... I believe he's on Dark this week. Brian Cage, he's still in the title picture for now, but I don't want that to happen to Matt Cordova because I will say that like he has fire within them to try to make something of himself. Obviously, because he feel a lot of people, and I think that he would share the sentiment. He was underutilized in WWE, and plus he has the charisma and I would say the social media savvy that would appeal to AEW. So I think that he would be one of the first guys that you would go get, not one of the last guys.
Hey, true. That before I go into my point, that's absolutely true. If Matt Cordova shows up next week, he does a promo, and he sends shots at the WWE, throw it in rice, bro. Throw it in rice.
That's a rite of passage.
It's like let that happen, and then it's over at that point. I don't want to hear it because you are that guy. Like you were the catering man. Shit was looking peachy for you when you was getting that check. Let's not try to switch it up now.
But was that okay? I will kind of. I'm not going to push back on that, but at the same time, was that really his fault? Because there was the argument that when he was doing the social media stuff, people were like, the WWE should act upon it, and they didn't. And now, I'm not saying that, every person that leaves the WWE was underutilized. Like, I don't think that, necessarily, I'll say Kurt Hawkins. I can't make that argument for him because there was a ceiling that he could only go. Well, I mean, with the hype bros, I'll say like there was a ceiling that he could only go with in WWE. We'll see what he can do in AEW. Not AEW, Impact. But I'm saying like with Matt, it could be a higher ceiling. I don't know, but at the same time with the WWE, there's only so much. Hours of programming. And
he has multiple championships under his belt. He is a former tag champ, and let's all remember those matches were not heat. The matches were not heat, and once again, the level of competition in AEW is not that high. So I don't think match quality is going to be any better.
But if he was higher quality, okay, so if he was adequate quality in WWE, and you're saying that the competition in AEW is not that high, shouldn't he be higher in AEW then? Just saying. Like, shouldn't he be like at a better level in AEW? It just depends on how they use him. I'm not sure. Because you pair him up with Cody, like, is Cody gonna turn on him and then they have a feud? Because they're in a tag match next week.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't
God.
know where that's gonna go. Like,
it's just like, yeah, you can say that Zack Ryder was underutilized, but then you look at the current landscape of what was going on in WWE at the time. Like, I was familiar with Zack Ryder after he won the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania.
Yeah. A
You
lot of moving
have
parts in WWE at that time. Just to for
Dog,
your point.
Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, The Miz, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. Well, Seth Rollins was out at some point in time, but you have people coming up from NXT,
Oh yeah, Dean. You had Brock still there too.
AJ Styles. Like, of course, like I'm sorry, like I'm not gonna get excited for a Zack Ryder, and I'm still not. And when I mean the level of competition, it's also just like I don't think Zack Ryder is necessarily going to get the best out of those guys and make them, elevate anybody really, because I don't think he's that great of a wrestler.
All right, fair enough. Like we'll see. Next week he's got Cody and and Matt is going to go against John Silver and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order. I think that's a perfect point.
Jobbers.
Well,
How am I supposed to be excited for that?
Well, I think that's perfect to go into our next topic.
Oh yeah, definitely a start.
Um, I call this the Dark Order orbit because there is a lot of wrestlers that are caught up in it. Because you got Cody and Matt next week, right? You also have Hangman, looks like FTR and Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Because the Dark Order, particular Brody Lee, is pissed because Hangman turned them down. So obviously they are tormenting him there. But you also have FTR that made the save. They have like a little weird alliance with Hangman right now that's kind of pulling Hangman and Kenny away a little bit. Then you have the Young Bucks who are they have like
just around to even the odds.
Yeah, they have this frenemy thing with the FTR, and of course they're part of the Elite. So you have Dark Order who like this huge faction, and it seems like they are eating up a lot of screen time and talent. And I'm like, okay, here's what I'm not sure. I'm just not sure how this is going to play out because I'm like, all right, is Brody Lee and Hangman going to have a singles match? Because
and then like for why though? Like that doesn't make like why would they have that match?
Because he's pissed that they turned him down. But at the same time, you have to start teasing Hangman and Kenny Omega breaking up at some point. Is that going to happen because the Dark Order kind of pulls them away a little bit, and then at All Out they lose the titles, presumably to FTR, and then FTR and Young Bucks have that feud, and then you have Hangman and Omega have their own singles feud. I don't know how this is going to shake out, but there's a lot of damn wrestlers.
Yeah, I'm still down for Kenny Omega joining Dark Order. I think that would be fantastic. That's definitely what they need. And the jobbing or some of these guys just need to stop. But yes, there are a lot of people in their orbit, and it just happens that Dark Order just has a lot of enhancement talent under their belt.
Grayson and Evil Uno. Grayson's a good wrestler.
We talked about the rankings not mattering or not being purposeful for a while, but I am glad that they finally got their match, and now something else can go on in the rankings.
Next week,
they were rightfully the number one contenders for a really long time, and they finally lost. So let's get on with it.
Next week we got what I alluded to, that big ass 12-man tag, FTR, Young Bucks, Hangman, and Kenny Omega versus Dark Order. Huge. Dark Order's got
insanity.
Two tag matches next week. 2. That's how many members they have.
And the women need it. The women need people the most. But
let's talk about the women now, man. Let's talk about the women now because
you like how they tried to build up what's her name? Like Diamante in like a week, and then they squashed her. Well, not squashed, but then she just loses to Hikaru Shida, so she's not really going to be in the running for the title.
So, going off that, Diamante, that was a nice video package they had. They told her story, and it was for. What was weird to me is that Hikaru Shida said that I will put this title up against everybody week to week, and then the match was non-title. Like, put the title up. You know what I mean? Like, she's a fighting champion. Let her be a fighting champion. Even though it seems like you don't have a lot of wrestlers to throw at
She
her right
just
now. Just have one. You know what I mean?
like Hikaru Shida just wants to wrestle. Like that's it, you know. And then she wants to have like sort of an open challenge, or get on TV, or just have matches in general. But no, we're gonna have this tag team tournament instead.
There was
This
a
women tag team tournament instead, and there's only one team, or like two teams, that has been revealed to us.
there was a spot in the match where like Diamante was going for a roll up, and then Cheetah went it into the ropes. I think Diamante needs
So
more.
sloppy.
She needs more like matches under her belt to get the rust off, because like I think she can be like a good wrestler. It's just that sometimes it looks a little rusty. Presumably, I think that Diamante and Ivelisse will be a tag team, but as you alluded to,
Hmm.
we only know of one right now because Nyla Rose was talking, and all of a sudden, former Funkadactyl Arion, I think saying, I hope I'm saying the name right. Arion, formerly known as Cameron, shows up out of nowhere. She's been out of wrestling for years, and she will be Nyla Rose's tag
Hmm.
team partner. Nyla did not look thrilled at all about this shit.
She wanted a manager, and now she's gonna be in this pointless tag team.
Well, I think what's going to happen is that Nyla is going to end up winning most of the matches by herself. Like can or Ariane is probably going
That
to
does
do.
that that does not look good on her tag team partner's part.
Yeah, Ariane is going to end up doing some stuff, but like Nyla is going to begrudgingly like putting like these tag teams away. I think that's the dynamic they're going to have because, like I said, Nyla's like I can do this on my
But
own, but Ariane's like,
but
hey, no, you need it.
I
You
said
need
that last week. Like they should have just revved up the Liva Bates and Nyla Rose tag team again, and then just let Nyla do all the work. They should have just did that again instead of hiring a whole new person.
I forgot about Leva Bates. I did. Um, oh man, I wonder who she's gonna tag with. Man, jeez, I can't even think of
Probably
anybody.
Abaddon or some shit. Who knows?
That's gonna be a weird tag team
Eh,
dynamic, man.
Weirder than the tag team that we that we're currently talking about. Like it's just they're gonna get like a whole bunch of just
You got the librarian with paired with the lady from I guess Evil Dead. I don't know. Like you're
yeah.
like it'd be.
Is we're just getting a lot of sloppy put together tag team. Honestly, just have it be a short tournament, and then just let
Unless,
Brandy Rose and Allie get it. Like
yeah,
that's because that's all it seems like is gonna come
unless they
to.
really have a plan, like they really have teams sorted out. I would
Like
have
they're the
de-
only established tag team.
I would have delayed this until fall when you start getting like healthy people healthy, and presumably if we control this damn spread, we could fly people over here to wrestle
Mhm.
because by the
Did you
fall
see?
you'll have Britt Baker back, and then you'll have like Big Swole. Like they would have already had their singles match, so they could be a tag team with somebody else. Because there's,
Hmm.
you know what I mean. Britt is teasing that she's gonna have like some special opponent for Big Swole coming up, but you don't really have like I don't know how many indie wrestlers you could get to fill this tag team thing unless you're just gonna have
Yeah,
full
I think
teams.
it's happening too early, and I also think that it's really awful that it's going to be. I believe it's going to be YouTube exclusive. Probably not the finals, but it's mostly going to be on YouTube.
Gotta get those views, man. Gotta get them
That's
views.
trash. That's
I
so
mean,
trash.
I would have put that. Yeah, if you're highlighting this to be a big thing, put this on the main show. Showcase the women.
Like that's so trash that you're really like trying to put this thing together, trying, but it's only going to be on YouTube. So we're going to get some of the enhancement talent that they've been using before as tag teams, and you know easy first round wins. Just have whatever enhancement talent and just put them in a tag team, and then have Nyla Rose and her partner run through that real quick, and then That's it.
Damn shame. Let's move.
Very shame.
Let's move on because we have a presidential campaign as
Oh,
not a
God.
presidential campaign, a title campaign. You know what? This worked for me. You know why? Because we have a, let's just say nasty presidential campaign coming forward, and who to be better to have this than AEW's, I guess, one of their top heels. MJF does make
Hmm.
good points though. He is undefeated.
Yes, that's why I hate it the most. I hate it because I agree.
He is undefeated. I don't know about the ratings though. Okay, let's stop hinting at those. And
Please stop talking about ratings on the show. Just stop doing that. Jericho doing it, saying, "Oh, all the ladies out there," like, stop that. Stop that. Just stop doing that.
Even Cody disagreed in like an interview that he just had. He's like, I don't know, if there's any validity to what MJF is saying about ratings, but and then MJF is saying,
Well, just stop the ratings talk in general. I like it. Like
well, it's fun.
it
Well, it
works.
was
It works
fun.
with the AEW crowd. It doesn't work for me.
Well, it
I
kind
think
of
it.
was
I think it's
fun
lame.
initially when Jericho did it. Afterwards, and then like Tony is talking about like demos that they won every week. I'm like, okay, all right, man. Like,
Yeah,
we get it.
that like
We're in a
now it's no
pandemic.
longer like all good and fun. It's lame now.
We're in a pandemic. Like, of course, ratings aren't going to matter, and we're not gonna like this isn't a TV podcast, but you could go into how Nielsen ratings and things have changed from cord cutting, and the fact that like people aren't. This isn't Nitro. This isn't
I don't.
Raw
I like. I don't
Review.
even think you need to like read up on it. You can your experience. Like, I know a lot of people that are just using Hulu, using Netflix, don't have cable. Like,
I don't have cable
your
either.
own life experiences will like literally speak for itself. Like,
I watch these
it's
shows
this is
like
ridiculous
yeah,
to me.
like I watch these shows on like streaming services. I don't physically have TNT or USA to watch these. So like it's fun, but at the same time it gets a little corny. But MJF also said that like there's a contrast with him. He wrestles like an '80s heel, very like
I thought
methodical and slow. And then he talks about like the flippy floppy stuff that's happened, and then he goes and talks into Mox. Now I think that it works perfect when it goes how Mox and Darby Allin fought against Starks and Cage because we'll get to it. There were thumbtacks in his damn match. Starks
Hmm.
took. Listen, man, like Ricky Starks is a trooper because he was leaking from the back.
Oh yeah, it looked really bad.
And MJF and Moxley have, like I said, like two different styles. Moxley is very hardcore. MJF is like, I'm not going to do that shit. That's just not me.
Yeah, but just also, he talks about wrestling as a, no flips, just fists, old revival thing. But then I Moxley isn't really much of a high flyer, so I felt like those shots were like at somebody else.
You might get a
But
double fist handle off the top from Moxley.
yeah, but that's 80s. That's very 80s. Um,
Like I don't see Moxley doing any like poison ranas or some Kota Ibushi stuff. If he does that,
yeah.
I'll be like, holy shit, where's this
Yeah,
guy?
wrong guy. Also, I'm gonna throw up if I ever see that. Uh, but nah, I definitely think because we could talk about I don't want to talk about the 10-man tag again, but heavy shots at them, and I do think he's right. But we'll see how this goes because I think it's real funny that he's the number one contender, but the fifth or sixth contender, I believe, will be getting a title shot next week.
Yes. You talked about that, like how like rankings don't matter, but like they don't. Um, it's funny because like when he talked about the flippy floppy stuff, he was in a feud with Jurassic Express, and they do like
That match instantly clicked in my head.
I'm like that's funny. I like how like they connected the thread there, but
Hmm.
like you
And
said,
like he can be a flippy floppy. Like he is athletic. I will give him that. But eh.
As you alluded to, first off, uh, let's let Ricky Starks talk more. I like that Taz was on commentary, conspicuous by Excalibur's absence. If you've seen a particular video that's been circulating around the Twitter sphere, maybe that's the reason why he wasn't there. I don't know, but
Oh, that's definitely the reason why.
you know what I mean. Not gonna say, but not looking good. He
You
said a
think?
certain word with oomph and
What if he came on right after a commercial break and he just let it off again?
on air?
Yeah.
First of all, I know that we are in a very divisive time where it seems like a lot of people who are pushing against diversity has been saying that word. Please don't say that word. But he did instant firing. Like, is he trying to commit career suicide? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
just let it rip, bro.
Hey,
AEW not gonna do nothing. Let it rip.
I don't know about. Well, he wasn't on the show this week. Maybe he did do something. But like you alluded to, next week, Jon Moxley will be fighting the 5th contender for the belt, Darby Allin, for the AEW title. I'm looking forward to this match, but I instantly cringed because I thought about the spots that Darby's going to take. There was a spot on the apron that happened in the Starks cage tornado tag where Darby just took a bump, and I'm like, oh my god, he's dead.
Yeah, that seems to be the case a lot.
Mox is going to throw him around. Am I a fan of him getting fed to Mox at this point? Not really, but it could have a non-finish because presumably Starks and Cage are going to get involved.
And what's also a little confusing to me is that, Moxley and Darby kind of handled that already, So
yeah, they already had a match.
How are they going to keep this going where, Brian Cage and Darby Allin do have the singles match at some point? Like, I definitely think that needs to happen so Brian Cage can more or less move on, because you got beaten by these guys about 3 times now?
Yeah.
2? Is it just 2? Yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right. Before we move on to NXT, one more tidbit about next week. Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy are going to have a debate, and it's going to have a special guest moderator. Orange Cassidy does not talk, so this should be interesting.
You already know what it is, man. Jericho is going to do his promo thing, and Orange Cassidy is going to say nothing.
He's going to give us a thumbs up. He's going to,
And then the crowd goes crazy. Like, it's the most predictable thing on the world, so I just... Also, the word debate does not excite me at all. I don't want to watch anybody debate.
They're leaning into a lot of presidential stuff going into the election.
Yeah.
Don't know how that's going to fare. Not really sure how that's going to pan out, given certain.
It just seems. It just seems like that's lame to me. Like, there's nothing fly about a debate. Like, ain't no fly shit about that, man.
All right, let's get into NXT because we got thank you for the response. We got a very long response. We got a couple of responses for Last Rites. Wow.
Okay.
Wait till I read one. You're gonna.
Oh
laugh.
Lord.
But Keith Lee said a cuss word against Karrion Kross.
That man said it twice. The real demo god said it twice.
Let me tell you something. Wasn't really sure going into this feud how it's going to come off. I'm looking forward to this damn match going into TakeOver now. Keith Lee turning it on. He's one of the best promos in NXT. He's one of the best. I'll argue that he's probably one of the best promos in the Wednesday night or WWE. He was rightfully pissed. You know what I mean? Like, Karrion Kross made it personal. And Karrion Kross, I love how another great promo. These men hate each other. They got a blood feud coming. R.I.P. to Cameron Grimes. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I love that he's an annoyance. But Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, bring it on.
Yeah, I'm with it. 100%.
Love it.
Everybody's really worried about how long Keith Lee's title reign is going to be, or, is Karrion Kross winning it too early? How is this feud working? Hey, man.
It'll work.
It's working for me.
It'll work. I think
two men
are on. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. They don't necessarily have to have a definitive finish if you could keep this going on for like another month after SummerSlam or stuff.
And they're gonna hate it, of course. So it's whatever. It is what it is. Like if there's a non-finish, everybody's gonna be, oh my god. But if Keith Lee would have lost, oh my god. If Karrion would have lost, oh my god. Why did you push him too early? So like, I don't think there's any like.
It's damned if you do, damned if you don't with the booking.
Yeah, so let's just let it rip. Go all for it. Like let the finish rock.
I think
no weird finishes.
This NXT episode also had 2 outstanding matches on it. Roderick Strong and Johnny Gargano. We already said that was
the
chain wrestling. Like, you know what I mean? These are 2 great wrestlers, and I think that is one of the pluses on these like triple threats. Whoever loses, you just have them fight next week. The next week it'll be heat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened here.
Yeah, I'm all for it. So if Thatcher and Balor have a match next week, like that's hard. That's heat. I'm all for it.
Of course, they had Balor, Thatcher, and Loomis in the triple threat.
Mm-hmm.
Very creative finish. Everybody
was
good and strong. Balor doesn't tap out. Thatcher passed out.
Yep.
And Loomis, who presumably took a lot of damage,
played it smart.
Played it, yeah, like you said, played it smart and got the submission on Thatcher. But Thatcher, like I said, Thatcher didn't tap out. He passes out. He looks strong. Very creative way how to end that match. Loomis prevails again. He moves on.
This is going to be a very interesting ladder match so far because it doesn't have any of NXT's like big hitters in it yet, which is really cool. So it's kind of like a showcase of the new like up and comers, and I think that's really cool because you remember the first title match or the first ladder match for the title was basically that. Like it had Ricochet, can't say the other 2 names, but it had Adam Cole in it. They're like, you see the new guard,
And like you said, you could have Balor and Thatcher this week, and it'll be dope.
Mm-hmm.
Next week,
it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, next week you have as a qualifying match, you got Damian Priest, you got Oni Lorcan, and NXT UK's Rich Holland.
I'm not familiar with Rich Holland.
I watched a couple of his matches on NXT UK, I believe. I want to see how he is in this match because I need to get more of a feel for how he wrestles and everything like that. He's obviously more of a power type guy, and you got Damian Priest, and you got Oni Lorcan, who's going to be throwing haymakers and elbows and stuff like that. It should be a fun match.
This is the first one where I don't go, man, I don't know who's going to win. I definitely think Damian Priest is going to win on this one.
Yeah, I do too. It'd be cool if Lorcan won, though.
I was thinking it would have been cool if Ridge won. Just get some NXT UK representation into that match.
And I applaud WWE for getting an NXT UK talent over.
Hey, man.
I'm not really sure how they did that, but
hey man, we don't ask too many questions. But if you want to bring anybody else from the UK over, maybe like a Tony Storm, maybe a Ginny, maybe a Isla Dawn, or Nina Samuels, Walter. Tyler Bate, get them over here. Like let's get those asses over here, man. Especially more of the NXT UK women.
Oh man, listen, NXT is already rife with talent. Imagine putting the NXT women over the mix: Kaylee Ray, Piper Niven,
Yeah.
like.
Probably, like, I'm not saying like bring all of them over. You can bring like 3 women over, and then just have Rich Holland stay, have Fabian Eichner, just have Imperium here, and then probably one non-Imperium person, which would be Rich Holland, and then that's it. You're straight.
Pete Dunne. But put
him
that
on too.
Raw or SmackDown.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, because he's been in NXT. It seems like forever.
Well, shit. So does Adam Cole.
True. Okay. Speaking of Imperium, Barthel and Eichner are back. They beat the hell out of Everrise. And it seems like Imperium and Undisputed Era are going to feud again. Now, Eichner and Barthel got jumped. And they're going against Christian O'Reilly next week. Hey, welcome back, O'Reilly. Imperium is going to need their guys to come over to make this even. I'm not sure if Walter is going to be down with coming here. And I was
really hoping for Walter to come out after the match or when they were getting jumped. I was just like waiting for it. I was just like, if you manage to bring Walter over as a huge surprise. Oh my God. Come on, Paul. We can do this. We can do this.
I mean, unless you have, because I know Thatcher has Walter ties. If you want him to join Imperium for the time being.
It don't really.
Because I'm not sure.
Really need to be all that.
Well, I'm not sure if you're going to get Wolf over here.
I don't know.
You can't have 4-on-3. If you're going to have a even shoot the fair one 4-on-4, somehow you're gonna have to smuggle Walter's big ass over here through a quarantine.
I need it, bro.
I hope. I have no idea how they're gonna do that, but we shall see in the coming weeks. We also had some like I said, women's wrestler developments. Now, we had.
I miss. It happened early on the show, but I missed the tag team match with the women's tag team match.
Tag team match was good. It gave us a nice little preview with Io and Dakota Kai, which I'm very much looking forward to, even though it may not happen. Of course, Dakota abandons Candice LeRae. She doesn't care about Candice. She's like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been the team player.
Yeah.
I'm going for mine. And
if Candice didn't, if Dakota Kai wasn't going to abandon her, Candice definitely would have abandoned her. So, abandoned Coda because, both of them are in the same boat where they used to be like team players. So putting them on the tag team, it was a recipe for disaster.
Oh, Candice took the craziest of pins. Dakota did not take that. She was sitting up on top of the ring.
Good.
But
it sucks that this turn couldn't make me a fan of Candice.
I'm still trying to figure out where this turn is going, but like you said, I'll allude to, there are some pieces that has to be shaken out before that can even happen, because after the match, Rhea Ripley's like, who the hell do you think you are? I have a stake at going at EO again, because I got to get my rematch. And I think it was a little nice that Dakota was like, all right, man, I'm getting tired of fighting these damn 4-ways, these triple threats.
Yeah, definitely. And then she has to fight, constantly fighting for number one contender. And it's just like, she rightfully earns it. Or, she's on the path to being a number one contender, but, there's always like some weird obstacle in her path for people that more or less don't really deserve that opportunity. Like, it was cool for Tegan Knox, but you already got like mad championship opportunities, so it's just let Dakota shine.
Well, guess what Dakota got for her troubles? Next week she gets the Rhea Ripley for a number one contendership.
Another number one, dog. If I'm Dakota Kai, I'm running up on Regal. Fuck you. I'm pulling up to your house because this is bullshit. Because Rhea Ripley has not been on the show for like 2 weeks.
She got a brand new haircut. You see that?
Like,
She's
yeah,
up in the prime.
she did the Android 18 thing, but like literally the last thing that Rhea Ripley did was beat up Rob Stone and Aaliyah. How does that get you a number one contendership? Like into number one contendership?
I'm not sure, man, but that's what
Your
the reward was. She gets to
the
fight
rematch that she said she has against Io right now, you already used your rematch in that triple threat, and then you lost in that triple threat.
Listen, from what I saw in this tag match, I want to see Dakota Io. Rhea, like,
Yes.
listen, love you. I think they dropped the ball, like cooling you off, but right now, it's Dakota's time.
I
It just really is.
I
She's
definitely
got
think
heart.
Raquel's gonna play a part. Hopefully.
Raquel, and Rhea, the big like strong
They
woman
just
versus strong woman.
and
That'd be
then
a nice little feud for
oh,
Raquel.
Rhea Ripley's about to get the win. Big boot, and then let Dakota Kai take it, and then instead of Rhea Ripley constantly being like, "Oh, I got cheated," or still trying to insert herself into this match in some shape or form, you just keep her busy with Raquel.
I like it.
Maybe.
No, I like that. That's
Mm-hmm.
perfect booking. Thank you. You're welcome, WWE. Um, Shotzi and Mercedes. Shotzi gets early offense in, but she just gets beat by Mercedes. We said that was
Good.
going to
That's
happen.
okay.
I'm fine with
Yeah.
that. Like, Shotzi's not cooled off. Mercedes gives the Robert Stone brand a much needed win because it seems like they were taking L's every single week.
Yeah, and I like that Mercedes is sort of bringing like some more legitimacy to the brand. So that's really cool. And yeah, Shotzi taking a loss here doesn't hurt her. She's a baby face.
Shotzi's
She's
not
gonna
hurting.
come back next week. Even though it's all people from the PC or whatever, she's gonna get cheered regardless. I don't think any less of her for losing this match, honestly.
She's gonna get her time will come. It's just right now there's too
Yeah.
many damn
There's a lot of
huge
women involved here.
huge baby faces right now. And her time will definitely come. All right, let's get into last rights. We got 3 responses here. I'm gonna read the long one.
Okay.
My name is Ipo Minoria. I'm sorry if I butchered your last name, but I really did try. I'm a long time listener, but this is my first time writing in. I thought this week's
Shout out to you.
thank you for listening. I thought this week's episode of NXT was good, especially with Swerve and Atlas. That was another good match. Good point there.
Mm-hmm.
You could say that was 3 good matches. What are you doing with Jake Atlas? My man has been taking talking about taking L's. Atlas has been taking some L's. Swerve is probably going to go after the title, but
Yeah.
man.
Just like Shotzi, Jake Atlas time will come.
All right, and Gargano strong matches also with the Lee and Cross segment. It seems like they're finding their footing again after the Great American Bash, because before those things, it was not looking good. I'm looking forward to them continuing this trend on the build-up to TakeOver, with how they've been building up new stars and the North American title division, Reed, Loomis, and etc. Through this ladder match. The build-up to Lee and Cross has been great, but I do not envy the person who has to book the finish of their match, because either way, people are not going to like it. We did say that. I 100% agree with you.
Great minds think alike, bro. That's why you've been listening so long.
At first, I wasn't sold on them pairing Mercedes with Robert Stone brand, but after her match with Shotzi, I'm slowly turning around on that. But it would have my interest peaked even more if this leads to a feud with Rhea down the line to establish Martinez and Robert Stone brand even more.
Great minds think alike.
Plus, heat up Rhea again. It also looks like we're going to get Swerve and Escobar for the title takeover or a regular episode of NXT. But either one is fine with me. I know it's going to be good. With Ridge Holloway debuting for NXT UK, this could be a way to set up a mini invasion. Nice. Or just bring over some NXT UK guys. Who do you
Did
think?
I write this message in?
It seems like you did. Like, did you do this? Who do you think they should bring?
I swear to God, I ain't do this.
Okay, so he asked. Oh, we got a listener question. Nice. Who do you think they should bring over here full time? He says he hopes Dunn, Mustache Mountain, Grizzled Young Vets, Tony. That would be my pick. Grizzled Young Vets. You know I'm already high on him if you've been long. And Tony Storm, because they'll bring a little bit more juice to NXT. Who would you think? Who do you want to bring over full time?
Like
Jenny.
Obviously, obviously Jenny's number one, but my three women's picks, like obviously bringing Kaylee Ray, she's fantastic. Tony Storm, Jenny. If not Jenny, Piper Niven doesn't really fucking matter to me. Yes, it does. For the men, what's that tag team called with Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews? What are they called? They're like something Connection. I forgot what their tag team name is. Either way, those two guys, I think they're fantastic talent, and we don't necessarily need any more men in the division, so they can partake in the 205 guys, or do things with the 205 live guys, honestly. And I got to remember who isn't in trouble in the UK and who is.
It's like whack-a-mole at this point, man. Like,
yeah, as far as I know, those two are fine. Because if I would have saw something about Flash Morgan Webster, I would have been sad. Because he looks like a nice guy.
From what I saw, like they're two really good guys.
Mm-hmm. So, as far as right now, that's all I can really think of. Just bringing those two guys in. Tyler, and like Walter, of course, but
they're called
Tyler Bate, Mustache Mountain.
South Wales Subculture.
I'm not going to remember. Yeah, that's such a long name. Oh, my God. Okay. But, yeah, bring in those two guys in. Bring in Walter. Kind of iffy on Mustache Mountain because if they're not going to really be in the tag team title picture, it's kind of weird. And I'm not sure what that currently looks like right now. If Undisputed Era manages to take it from them,
Just real quick, I agree with you. Mustache Mountain has had their matches in NXT, so I would probably have them as a singles if you could bring them over here. I think that NXT...
Yeah, and just bring in Tyler Bate, because we don't really need Trent. Not to, dunk on Trent Seven, but, usually he loses a lot of... he plays in a very... type of role in NXT UK, so we don't really need that.
He's the underneath babyface. That's what he plays in.
Yes.
I think that you do need men's tag teams, so go ahead and bring over Young Grizzled Vets, who, like I said, I'm a huge fan of, and Subculture over here. They would bring so much to it. Going back to your point about the women real quick, would love to bring Kaylee Ray, Tony Storm, Piper Niven, and you said Jenny over here, because... if you're going to do things with the women's tag titles, you also need, tag teams over here. So, if you can, bring them over for that too. But I would love to see Tony Storm have a run. Kaylee Ray, if you've, like you said, listening for a long time, I'm Kaylee Ray Hive all day.
Yeah, definitely.
Piper Niven too. That'd be great. Love it. Let's keep reading here. He said Dunn would instantly be number 2 babyface after Keith, and he would have a ready-made feud waiting for him for Thatcher heading into the fall. Mustache Mountain and Young Grizzled Vets would bring so much needed life back into the tag team division. Tony Storm would be an instant challenger with her credibility, who has a history with the whole division, especially EO. Sorry for the long response. I enjoyed this week's episode. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you, Epo. That was really dope.
Yeah, shout outs to you. And yeah, why not? And it doesn't really have to be a takeover thing. It could just be a match on TV.
Yep. All right, Monday Night Raw. Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle are easily the worst thing on either Wednesday shows, and it's been this way for almost a month.
Yeah. I just hate how the actual tag team in the Inner Circle just lose, or they don't really do anything, or they're just a joke, and I'm not a big fan of that, because prior to them signing with AEW, I did like I did like LAX a lot. Like that match that they had with Rock and Roll Express was actually really good.
The only two guys that win in the inner circle was Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. They either win in singles matches or they win together, which is funny.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Hager and LAX, or Santana Ortiz, they take the L's for some reason.
Yeah.
Or they'll get a win on Dark. You know what I mean?
And
they gotta figure it
who's watching Dark? I don't watch Dark.
I mean,
especially with them having having 12 matches on there. Like, I just think that's far too much.
I do, but there's 12 matches on there, so I watch the highlights or the really quick squash matches because, like you said, you're already watching 4 hours of TV here. I try to watch Dark to kind of get a feel for before we do the show. If there's anything important, I will highlight it. You know what I mean? It's kind of tough. All right, our final one, and I think this is from Meals. Calling Dynamite mid would be disrespectful to mid. White people love lying about MJF, but lying about Zack Ryder is too far. Incels love dweebs. Ricky starts cut a good promo. That's all I got. NXT was pretty good. The setup for TakeOver has been pretty good. Every match was heat, plus any show where Keith Lee hoes a white man gives 5 stars for being. Neil is saying, here's the thing. That is hilarious.
Factual.
That was a hell of a way to end Rams Rights this week.
You remember literally last week where that picture of all the new guys that Impact signed, and they were they're all doing the middle finger or whatever, right?
It was all over Twitter.
Everybody in that photo, jobber, or former jobber, or
All right, let me think of that photo.
Never truly was excited about anyway. So how am I going to get excited for them?
I mean,
in a place with with the level of competition being fairly low.
I mean, I was excited about Anderson and Gallows initially coming over to WWE with AJ and Nakamura, but they are what they are. You know what I mean? They were cool in Bullet Club. They're a cool tag team, but I don't know if they moved the. Here's the thing, though. I don't know. I'm gonna be watching Impact every single week for this. For Heath. And I'm not throwing shade at him. I'm just you know what? I'm not watching Tuesday nights for this.
Yeah, or just like you were gonna say, they don't really move the needle for me, but that they did some wrestling show on their own. That's gonna be on Fight TV at some point. I don't know what that's about.
It looks funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out for it. Yeah, comedy purposes. It looks entertaining to me. So
we might have to do a short review of that. I don't know if I'm.
It might be a spot callers, man. Who knows?
Might have to do that for spot callers. I'm not sure. It's just
I'm sorry. Just
Impact's okay. You know what bothers me, and I talked about this last week before we go. Impact's production value's got to step it up. I can't. It looks like they're shooting matches in a high school gym and wired for a gym, and I've heard high school basketball games with better sound than their pay-per-views. I can't come on, help me. You know what I mean? Do you need us to buy you mics? Do you need us to buy you wire sound? What the hell is going on here?
I'm sorry. These new signings from Impact and AEW don't excite me. That's about it.
I want to see where Cardona goes. But that's booking.
Yeah. And it's just you can make the argument that WWE ruined these guys, so of course you're not going to get excited for them. But it's just I seen the chances that they gave Zack Ryder. I was still not moved. Yeah. That's the short. Really, that's the short of it. And we see how AEW book things, so I don't think they're going to do him much favors anyway. I see him tag team division vibes in after he gets a big title shot and he loses.
Oh man, I don't know. At least AEW will have a lot of figurines and stuff, and they know where to buy them. Before,
And I just think it's weird that, or just one. Well,
yeah,
this
go
will be
ahead.
my final thing.
Go ahead.
I think it's weird that AEW kind of markets itself as an alternative, but they kind of bring everything else from the thing that they're trying to be different from.
Okay.
Like the MJF promo, he is right. Like Moxley is sort of that old guard where these young talents that every week they always talk about, like Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, MJF, like that's going to be like their big four talent. But MJF is probably the only person to get a win over Cody, and the three other guys have never beaten anybody on like higher on the card.
Here's
You know,
here's the
so it's
thing
just
with
it's
that,
going.
and you have a point. I will say MJF to me he has to beat Moxley, in all of it.
Mhm.
He has to because like you just said, young talent is what is going to like your established talent is going to get you the eyes. Okay, everybody started watching AEW because oh wow, what is Cody doing? What is Kenny Omega doing? What is the Young Bucks doing? Like you know what I mean? Like that's going to get you the initial eyes. What's going to keep you going is the young established talent, and I think that Vince McMahon said that on the investor call. It's like we have to push young stars because that's
Yeah.
what is going to get your a younger base of watchers, like like viewers, and also like you can't keep on going like the elite as your lifeblood going forward. And say in year 3 or year 4, who have you set up? Is it going to be Jungle Boy? Is it going to be like you said, like Darby Allin? People resonated with Darby Allin when this first started. You know what I mean? Like you can't have Darby Allin get squashed by Moxley next week. It has to be competitive. He can't just be like this
Yeah.
guy who gets to the apex. He'll get to the Codys. He'll get to remember like Jericho. Like Jericho defended the
Yeah.
title against him, and he keeps on losing. You can't have those guys over and over and over again
And
be
guess,
the
but they
underdogs.
already did. They already did that with Jungle Boy. I think the only thing that what would complete the triangle is if Jungle Boy lost to Moxley, and then he's done.
I sure hope not. I don't think. Thankfully, I don't think that like Jurassic Express is kind of together right now, so I
It's
don't think
it
that's going to happen.
it's
But
so hard. It is so hard for me to care for them right now. I'm
and that sucks.
them saying
Because there was
that
such a
Jungle Boy
high.
has to be like Jungle Boy is going to be like their guy in the future. I'm just like, you were doing him a major disservice. And I used to care about Luchasaurus. I kind of don't now.
Look,
I thought the match that he had with Warlow was cool, but that's it for
if
me.
if Jim Cornette and he's not what I mean, he's not the arbiter of talent. If Jim Cornette is telling you to push Jungle Boy, you know what I mean? Like that's that's an indicator to like start getting this guy some wins, start getting this guy some matches. That's something that we're gonna have to look forward to in the weeks to come. As always,
Mhm.
thank you to our listeners. We appreciate all of you so much. Stay safe. As always, you can follow us at RNC Radio Live on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to our channels wherever you listen to podcasts. Every Wednesday night after the show, we'll have the Last Rights link up so you could tell us your thoughts on NXT or AEW. Lot to look forward to next week. For myself and Cyrus, again, thank you so much for listening to us, and we will talk to you soon.